Okay, so I drew this yesterday. It's just, I don't know, kind of flowers, sort of. They're not right. They're not, it's just very fun take on flowers. And this is actually a folded piece of watercolor paper, okay? Now, my thought is that this is going to be a giant card, all right? But you could do this as an art journal page, a cover, and if you did it like this, then you could always fold it in and stitch it in. So you could do your pages like this, and then bind your book once they're all done if you want to work loose rather than in the actual book, all right? So I'm going to just play with it. I have got watercolors, as per always. I've got both my Jane Davenport. I've got my Jane Davenport water-soluble pens. I have got, of course, my new Daniel Smith watercolors, tubes. I've got an entire bag of water-soluble Neocolors, and I do mean an entire bag. So I thought what I would do is just, like I said, just color this in with any and all of this stuff, whatever I feel led to use. I've got two different brushes. I've got, they're both Royal and Langnickel. I've got a 5 and an 8, all right? And that's just, so I have two different size tips, because some of these are really thin lines, so I really needed a small one, to be able to get in there and not just obliterate the line, because I don't want to obliterate the lines. But also at the same time, I don't want to be all day. All right, so I'm just gonna play with it all, and what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna just do the whole thing, no talking, just fast forward through it all, and I may fast forward it like 3 or 4 times the speed, maybe even more. We'll see. So it's not just hugely long, because something like this is going to be hugely long, and I know you want to see the process, but you don't want to see it in real time. No one wants to see it in real time. Okay, let's get to painting. Alright, so I took a break and let everything dry because now I want to do the background and yeah, I didn't want to oops it. So I'm through with the gold. I think what I'm going to use for my background is out of here, this 70s eyeshadow. It's blue. I may drop some of the butterfly in it, but if so, I've got to be really careful because I've got butterfly in my painting and I don't want it to get too. So I will tell you a couple of things that I was doing. I've already edited the first half while it was drying that I didn't really tell you is I love, let me get a piece of just watercolor paper. There's two things I love when you're working with watercolors. And I am not a skilled watercolorist, all right? But there's two effects you can get that I just love, all right? The first one is if you put in water first and then you pick up a color and you drop it in, you get this bloom and this movement and it's very pretty, okay? And then you can just keep dropping, you know, where you want more. So I did that on there if you didn't know what I was doing. The other thing that I like is, let's say you've got an area, all right? You've got an area that you want, and I know you can barely see that, but you want to color that in, right? So you take your watercolor and I put it on where I want my shadows to be, so like my deepest color, and then I pick up water to blend and pull it to the other side. So I also did that. So both of those things are things that if you aren't familiar with watercolors that you saw me doing, probably poorly. If you're a watercolor expert, you're like, oh my heavenly days, I was so bad. Because yeah, I'm not good at watercolors. I'm not going to pretend I am. I'm going to just make this into something that I might can use at some point. I'm not going to pretend I am good at it because I'm not. But I do enjoy playing with them. And that's pretty much what this is. It's just me playing with them. And then you can see me do things like that, where I've just kind of combined the two techniques. And then you can take a darker color, right? And then drop it in as well. And you see me do that a lot. Another thing you see me do a lot is if there's another shape beside it, I like the way it pulls in. So let me just grab a different color. I don't know why I'm acting like it so matters, because it doesn't. Let me just grab this green. So let's say I have this green, right? And I'm going to go like this. All right. So I would put my green down, right? Then I would pick up just a little extra water and connect them. Now here's the thing that, for me at least, I can't ever say which is going into which. So if I want one to go into the other, well then I just move them. You know, something other than what it did. But I love this bleed through. And you see that on my flowers here. This third layer is because of that bleed through. And I like that. You can also see me dropping more color in to get this darker shade. You can see it here. The purple fed back into it. I didn't intend that. So let me pick that up and see if I can fix that a little bit, because I've kind of lost it. Yeah, that's better. So anyway, there's a lot of things I did in here. And when I did the flower right here, I just put in like little dollops of the colors. And then when I came back, well, then I took just water to move them. And then when I had another color I wanted to drop in, well, I just did. I just dropped it. So this is only 2 colors. It's the pink, which is, hang on, Best Friend, and the purple, which is Mystic, out of the Jane Davenport paints. But because of the way I did it, it looks like lots and lots of pinks and purples. So anyway, okay. Enough explanations and demonstrations from the woman who can barely watercolor. And I'll set this aside. It might actually become something later in life. You never know. All right, so for the background though, I am not good at backgrounds. I may destroy this whole thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of put some water down, staying away from everybody. And then I'm going to pick up this blue, right? Just like this. Because I do want this background painted, but what I don't want is it to go into anywhere I don't want it. So I'm kind of going to do a mixture of the 2 things I just showed you to get this done, and then just straight painting like I did right there. Nothing from the others should move in, because I'm not going to let it get that wet. But it's going to take me a little while to do the background, and isn't that pretty? And it should give me some natural highs and lows of its own. And it will control that, not me. I'm not that good. Alright, let me get to painting. And when the background's done, it'll be done. Okay, I think that's it. I've painted in the background, and I tried to do it in such a way that it's kind of modeled everywhere, where there's darker and lighter, and you see some drying effects. And then the last thing I did was put in this green line down here on top. So it's not the same green as everywhere else, but it does give you that idea of land. Okay, now then, let's pull the tape. And if you've never seen me do this, or anyone else do this, and you're not one that uses artist tape, the way to pull the artist tape is to use your heat gun. It loosens the glue and it just pulls clean up. It doesn't tear your paper, and it's perfect. But it's also why when you're in the middle, you can't use your heat gun to dry it, because it'll loosen the tape up and it may seep under. So if you actually want a clean edge, you can't do it. Now, that's not to say that because I was really going up to these edges several times that it didn't go under the edge, but fingers crossed. Alright, so if you saw, there was no pulling of the tape. It literally just releases. So that's why I love that way of getting your tape off. And as described initially, you can make this a page in your art journal. You can work like this, and then you can stitch them in, and you've got completed pages. But my thought was, and I don't know how I do this because my mom recently told me she started watching some of my videos. This is my mom's Mother's Day card. I got her a present, but I was trying to decide on a Mother's Day card, and I thought that I would do this because I just thought it was kind of cool. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little banner here for Happy Mother's Day that wraps around from the back, so it attaches to the back. And then, you know, I can write in the middle. And then if she wants to, well, it's an 8x10. It's totally frameable. She can leave or remove the Happy Mother's Day banner. So that's why I'm going to attach it to the back. So part of me really wants to air this before Mother's Day so that if you're desperate for a Mother's Day card, you could take the idea. Because I'll tell you, there's not a lot of really good cards anymore. At least I don't think so. So yeah, I do like to make my own, but I like to do something like this where it's my actual hand doing it. So anyway, I don't know how I'm going to do that. My original intention was to post this immediately so that y'all could see it and be like, oh, that's a great idea. I'll paint my mom a Mother's Day card. But yeah, my mom told me the other day that she was watching some of my art videos, and so I was like, oh, glad to know that. So I probably will not post this till after Mother's Day, but it's not just a Mother's Day. It could be a birthday card, a get well soon card. It can be anything. And you can size it whatever size you want. You know, you could take a much smaller piece of paper and make a, you know, you could take this size, all right, let's use the back, and, you know, make a much smaller card. That would be a regular greeting card size. If you just cut that off, I don't think that, yeah, there's something on the other side. If you cut that, you know, tore it out, cut this off, fold it in half, that's pretty much a regular greeting card size, right? So, I just grabbed an art journal from behind me. So anyway, how big you make this is totally up to you. I thought it'd be cute if I took 12 by 12 scrapbook paper and made a mismatched envelope, because I'll have to add pieces for the flaps because the paper won't be big enough. And I actually thought that would be kind of cute. So yeah, but your scene can determine your occasion. So anyway, there it is. I like it. I like it. It's a little fanciful. It's not perfect. Mine never are, but I do like it. Bye, y'all. Hey guys, okay, here's one last pop in with the Happy Mother's Day added. I just took one of those scraps of watercolor paper and my Dymo, put Happy Mother's Day. See, it lifts up so it doesn't interfere with the actual painting, and it's glued to the back. So, if you wanted to make yours a card, but still have the painting preserved, there you go. Bye, y'all.